A long time ago, in a beautiful African kingdom, there lived a woman known as AWELE. She lives in a secret hut close to the forest. She was sent away from her loved ones because she speaks and fights against the evildoers who overpowered her kingdom. Many years back, when AWELE was younger, she was a very brave young woman who always helped people, including strangers. One fateful evening, AWELE was on her way to the stream when she met an old woman looking very weak and sick. She was struggling with a pot of water on her head. AWELE started feeling uneasy as soon as she walked past the old woman. She quickly went to the old woman, took the pot down, and greeted her in a polite way. "Greetings, wise one. Why are you doing this to yourself? Don't you have children or people around to help you? You look very weak. You must be sick as well. Why do you have to do this by yourself?" The old woman looked at AWELE, who was looking very worried. "My daughter, thank you for showing concern about my condition. It seems you are new to this community, because no one born of this kingdom cared about me. They said I'm evil. That is why I don't have any family of my own. I'm left to suffer until I breathe my last." AWELE was surprised to hear this. She asked the old woman if she had any children. "Wise one, I'm sorry about what you are going through. I was born in this kingdom, but handed over to my grandmother because my mother died 3 years after giving birth to me. I came back few weeks ago because I lost my grandmother. Please tell me, wise one, do you have any children or relatives in this kingdom? And where do you live so that I can help you take your water home?" The old woman sympathized with AWELE over the death of her grandmother. "I'm so sorry for the death of your grandmother, my daughter, and for your questions. Yes, I have a son and 3 grandchildren. He left me because he believed I was going to harm his family. All this started the day the ghosts started using me to reveal the evil men in this kingdom and heal the sick. Even the ones I healed despised me and called me evil. I had to leave the village and build a small hut for myself close to the forest. I came here by this time to fetch water because the road is usually empty around this time." AWELE couldn't believe that the old woman was abandoned and labeled a witch for carrying out the will of the gods. She helped the old woman carry her water to a small hut near the forest. And from that day, AWELE always sneaked out of the house to the old woman's hut to help her fetch water and also prepare her meals for her. She became so fond of the old woman that she started referring to her as her grandmother. She told the old woman not to worry, that she will always be there to take care of her. One day, she asked the old woman why the gods did not fight or provide help for her when she was becoming weak and sick. She smiled and told her that the gods promised to send her help, and they did. "My daughter, the gods do not forsake their own. I was destined for this mission, to heal and to save. That is what I have been doing all my life. When I became weak and sick, I cried to the gods. They promised to send me peace, and they did through you, my child." AWELE's love for the old woman grew stronger after hearing this. And she promised to love her just like she had loved her late grandmother. Few months later, the old woman's time was gradually fading away. She sat AWELE down one day and told her that her time was up. My dear daughter AWELE, I have something very important to tell you. This will shock you, but please do not run away from it. AWELE, looking very worried and confused, asked the old woman what was going on, that she was scaring her with her words. Grandmother, what is going on? Why are you sounding like this? Don't tell me you also want to leave me, like my mother and grandmother. The old woman held her hands and asked her to calm down and listen to her very carefully. AWELE, my child, calm down and listen to what I have to tell you. What I'm about to tell you is greater than what you can imagine. I don't know why, but the gods have mandated me to do this before I leave this world. AWELE, you are my successor. You will take over the responsibility of this kingdom's safety when I'm gone. Yes, it's not going to be easy, but the gods will always be with you. AWELE was shocked. She opened her eyes and mouth as she looked at the old woman without saying anything. The old woman continued, I understand, my child. It was also difficult for me to believe when the gods revealed your face to me as my successor. It took me over 2 weeks to be able to gather the courage to break this news to you, my child. You will be the one to save this land from the terrible calamity that will befall it in the future. AWELE took a deep breath and said to the old woman, Grandmother, does this mean I will also have to face the same fate as you? Will I also be tagged as a witch? Will my family also push me away? Please tell me, grandmother. The old woman told her not to worry, that the gods will take care of all that. My child, I can't tell you what the future holds, except the gods permits me to do so. However, you might face a better or worse situation than what I have endured all these years. No matter what, remember that the gods will always take control. AWELE accepted the responsibility and promised the old woman that no matter what, she will always be faithful to the gods. Days later, the old woman transferred all her gifts to AWELE and she passed away that same night with a bright smile on her face. AWELE came back the next morning and found out that the old woman was dead. She wept bitterly for hours and then she decided to bury the old woman beside the hut. After many days of mourning, AWELE returned back to her normal life. Years later, she got married to a noble man from her community. Their union was blessed with 4 beautiful children. They lived a happy and peaceful life until that fateful day when AWELE was resting during the day. A voice spoke to her. AWELE, it is time. The hour has come. Rise up now. Hurry to the palace. An evil man is about to be crowned as the next king. Go now and stop them. AWELE stood up immediately and ran straight to the palace. Just when the kingmaker was about to place the crown on Mazi Ejiofor's head, she screamed, Stop! Do not crown this evil man. He doesn't mean well for this kingdom. He will destroy this land and make everyone suffer. The elders were surprised to see a woman telling them what to do. Mazi Ejiofor, knowing that she was telling the truth, he quickly shut her up. Keep quiet, woman. Who gave you the right to come in here and question the choice of the gods? Does this gathering look like women meeting? Even your husband, Tochukwu, is not allowed here because he's still a child. Get out of here now before the gods strike you. Awele laughed and told him that he can never be king because his head will never fit into the crown. The whole elders shouted with their mouths open after hearing this. One of the elders asked Awele if she knew the consequences of what she was doing. Awele asked him to keep quiet, that he was one of those who has already been bought by Ejiofor. At this point, Ejiofor was beginning to feel uneasy. He asked the Prime Minister to go ahead with the coronation, that Awele has gone mad. With the support of the chief priest and some elders, Ejiofor was crowned as the king. Awele tried to stop them with her powers, but the gods stopped her. She left the palace angrily. When she got home, her husband asked her where she was coming from. She told him all that happened. The man was surprised. Awele, you mean you left this house, went to the palace to dare to stop Ejiofor's coronation? No, make me understand something. Are you possessed by some evil forces? Please and please, Awele, for the sake of my children and I, stay away from things that are beyond you. Awele apologized to her husband and went inside her room. She sat on the bed and began to think about the whole thing. Why did the gods stop me? Why did they allow that evil man to be crowned? She was lost in her thoughts when the old woman appeared to her and asked her to be calm, that the gods want the kingdom to learn their lesson. Don't think too much, my child. A time will come when the same people that put the crown on Ejiofor's head will look for you with tears to come and rescue them. They need to learn the hard way. Before Awele could say anything, the old woman disappeared. Few days later, Awele and some women were coming back from the market. When they saw people gather by the roadside, they went closer to see what was happening. They saw a woman crying bitterly with her child lying lifeless in her arms. Awele was moved by her tears as she placed her hand on the little girl's head and she opened her eyes. Everyone started shouting as they ran away. Even Awele herself was surprised to see such miracle. The news was all over the village. Everyone said Awele, the wife of Tochukwu, is now a magician. That same day, she healed an old woman who has been battling with leg injury for years. The more Awele tried to stop herself from helping people because of how the villagers were talking, the more she's being pushed by the powerful force inside of her to heal and call out the evildoers. When the news got to the king, he asked the guard to bundle Awele and bring her to the palace, including her husband and children. When they got to the palace, King Ejiofor told the people that this woman walked in on the day of his coronation and tried to stop the event with her evil powers. And today, she's using that same power to deceive the whole community. But he won't let this continue. He asked Awele's husband if he's in support of what his wife was doing. He denied having any idea about her sudden powers. The king asked him to deny her and take his children away, or he and his children will be excommunicated alongside with her. Her husband quickly moved aside with his children, and the king told the whole community that from that day on, Awele was no longer a part of them. She left the palace with tears flowing from her eyes as she looked at her husband and children. She went back to the old woman's hut close to the forest. When she got there, the whole place was filled with grasses. She didn't know what to do or where to start from. She sat down under the tree and continued crying. Few minutes later, she fell deeply asleep. When she woke up, she saw a brand new hut and the whole place sparkling clean. She wasn't surprised because she knew the gods were going to take care of her. She went inside the hut and everything she needed to survive was available. AWELE dwelled in the hut for many years without the love of her family. Her only companion was the old woman who always came around in form of a young girl to keep her company. They sing and play together till night falls. Most times, the gods will lead AWELE to nearby communities where she uses her spiritual gifts to heal them. Many seasons has passed. Her people had forgotten about her. They believed she must have been eaten by wild animals while roaming the forest. No one had any idea about the hut AWELE was staying. When the time was near, a terrible calamity before the people of her community. A deadly disease that had come to wipe the whole kingdom away. The king, who cared less about the people, except his family and wealth, did not show any concern towards the people during these difficult times. Unfortunately, the disease visited his household, killed his 2 children, and left his wife battling for her life. They called different healers, but there was nothing they could do. One day, a stranger passed by and saw their situation. He took pity on them and told them about a powerful healer who can even raise the dead. The king sent his elders to go in search of this healer. They searched for several weeks but couldn't find AWELE. One day, AWELE was sleeping when the gods spoke to her. AWELE, the brave daughter of the gods, wake up now, hurry back to your people and save them. The disease is about to consume your loved ones. Go now, AWELE. The innocent ones are suffering. My heart bleeds whenever I see my children dying. AWELE woke up immediately and rushed back to her people. As soon as the king and elders saw her, they couldn't believe that she was the healer that the stranger told them about. They asked for her forgiveness and pleaded with her to heal the land. AWELE told the king that he was the reason why the kingdom was bleeding. King Ejiofor, now you see the reward of your evil deeds. Gather the whole kingdom and confess your sins, else you will be destroyed. The king asked the messenger to gather all the villagers. Within few minutes, the whole palace was filled with sick villagers. The king confessed to the people, telling them how he poisoned the previous king and the crown prince because of how desperate he wanted the throne. He also told them that AWELE was right all along. She is not a witch, but a special daughter of the gods. He said he noticed how powerful she was. That is why he sent her away, since he couldn't kill her. This left the whole villagers surprised and speechless. Some of them picked up stones and started throwing at him. AWELE stopped them. Stop, my good people. I understand your pain, but leave this man for the gods to give him a well-deserved punishment. As for all the sick ones among us, your suffering has come to an end today. Get up and start celebrating. She looked up and shouted 3 times. Immediately, there was a thunder blast. The king, his wife, and some elders were struck to death, and sickness vanished from the land. The gods instructed AWELE to send all their corpses to the evil forest. Peace and happiness was restored back to the kingdom. AWELE reunited with her family, and her husband became the new king. From that day on, Awele was respected and adored by her people and the neighboring kingdoms. She was appreciated for her wisdom and kindness. She showed everyone that sometimes what people say about others is not true, and it's important to look beyond rumors and see the real person inside. Even as a queen, she still attended to the sick, making sure everyone was okay. Alright guys, this brings us to the end of the story of Awele. Please drop your comments and tell us what you learned from the story. What is the moral lesson in this story? Drop your comments and let us know guys. And don't forget to subscribe for more interesting videos. Also turn on the bell so you'll be notified whenever I post a new video. Thank you. See you guys in my next video. Bye for now.